All right, what's going on, everybody? We are back once again, early morning video. So, I was watching a video this morning from Fight Hub TV where they're interviewing Eddie Hearn again, and Eddie Hearn continues to always put himself in front of the camera. This is a guy who's never met a camera he doesn't like. And because he's in front of the camera so often and he's constantly doing interviews, he's always saying things that I wonder if he actually really believes them or if he's just saying them out of emotion or if he's just flat out saying them just to grab a soundbite, get a soundbite, and have that person who's interviewing him grab the soundbite and put it out there. And all the while, he continues to get attention, right? Wow, look what Eddie Hearn said. He says these things that seem and sound outlandish. And you have to ask yourself, does he really mean what he's saying? So in this recent interview with Marcos Villegas, shout out to Fight Hub TV. I'd have to say that's my favorite media outlet, boxing outlet. I'm a huge fan of Marcos Villegas. I think he's truly an unbiased analyst, reporter, interviewer. So shout out to him. So Eddie Hearn's being interviewed by Marcos Villegas, and he just comes out and says, well, we may drop all the titles, or Anthony Joshua may just drop all the titles, vacate all the titles, right? Because Marcos Villegas asked him about, when's this Usyk fight going to happen? So now all of a sudden, we may just drop the WBO title if we can't get the deal that we want against Usyk. So why wouldn't you be able to get the deal you want against Usyk? You guys have all the leverage. When has that ever been a problem for Anthony Joshua to get the deal that he's wanted when he's making a defense or a mandatory defense of his titles? When is Anthony Joshua's any of his mandatory defenses ever gone to purse bid? So they've never had a problem. Joshua's had these titles, all four of them since actually, yeah, all four of them. Because if you want to, no, five, I think, if you include the IBO, and he's even paying a sanction fee on the IBO. I think he still holds that title. He hasn't even vacated that title, right? So ever since he's held all five of these belts, he's never gone to purse bids. He's always been able to work out a deal. So why all of a sudden is there going to be a problem now? Eddie Hearn has dealt with Alexander Usyk a few times, right? Multiple times. When Usyk fought Chisora, he dealt with him there, right? He's dealt with him in other fights as well, right? So when has there ever been a problem dealing with Usyk? But now all of a sudden there's a problem, or there could be a potential problem working out a deal with Usyk when you've worked with the guy in the past. You've actually, I believe, had him under contract for a couple of fights, if I'm not mistaken. And please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. So why has there ever been a problem? Or why would there ever be a problem dealing with Usyk all of a sudden? Why all of a sudden now you're talking about vacating titles when Anthony Joshua has held all these titles for over 3 years? But once again, yeah, in my opinion, the guy just loves to say these things that he knows aren't gonna happen. He says these things that aren't true just so he can create this drama, get all this attention, put these sound bites out there so people can be like, "Oh, really? Joshua's going to drop all the titles?" What sense would that make for Joshua to drop all the titles? Why would the super fight even happen with Tyson Fury if Anthony Joshua we're gonna drop all the titles? If he's gonna drop all the titles, why would the super fight even happen? So this is why, you can't take things that this guy says seriously, because I think he goes out of his way just to say things so he can get shock value, so he can get attention. The guy's he's definitely an attention whore. He's definitely like name one promoter out there that does as many interviews as he does in front of a camera. And then he's constantly making everything about him. He's constantly playing the role of the martyr. He wants everyone, oh, well, Look what how much I'm doing, and these guys are doing nothing. Look at what we have to do with Anthony Joshua having to fight all these mandatories. Why is everyone telling us what to do? Why can't we just do what we want? Well, again, poor Eddie Hearn. Everyone's making life difficult for Eddie Hearn. The sanctioning bodies are making life difficult for Eddie Hearn. Oh, poor Bob Arum lied to me. They misled me. Come on, man. At what point does the BS stop? But it's never going to stop. You know why? Because he has his sycophants out there. He has his surrogates out there. He's got his diehard minions out there that are just going to constantly believe every word he says. And they're just going to keep repeating his talking points. You listen to these guys. I've never seen a time in boxing where fans actually root for promoters. Like they're fans of the actual promoters. They're fans of networks more so than they are fans of the fighters. Boxing is so tribal right now, so political right now, even with the fans, that back in the day when everyone would criticize promoters because everyone believed and they just assumed, and it was common knowledge that promoters are going to say whatever they have to say, whether they mislead, whether they exaggerate, whether they embellish or not. They're going to say whatever they have to say because they're trying to get people to buy and show interest in the event that they're putting on. It's part of their job. It's part of their job to do that. And everybody knows that or should know that. But for some reason today, you have these fans who are just naive. They just want to believe something. They have to be part of a team. Everybody has to be part of a team. Instead of just, of course, Bob Arum bullshit the public, right? Of course, Frank Warren bullshit the public. But you have to be overly naive to just sit there and think that Eddie Hearn wasn't bullshitting you too. You have to be incredibly naive to sit there and think that Eddie Hearn wasn't bullshitting you too. He couldn't have been that stupid. He couldn't have been that ignorant to think that there wasn't issues going on. And part of me thinks that he was part of the stall tactics too. There's part of me that believes that. It's hard for me to just sit here and say that Eddie Hearn didn't think or didn't suspect that this fight wasn't going to happen in August. It's just hard for me to believe that. For him to not understand arbitration, there's no guarantee. You can't sit there and go through a 6 month or whatever it was December to what? Yeah, almost a 6 month process. So if it was such a cut and dry process and there wasn't going to be any problems, then why would it have had to have gone on for 6 months? No one would be that stupid or ignorant to think that this is a slam dunk. This is going to be no problem. No one would think that. And why was the Saudi money never put in escrow? Why did they hold back on it for so long? Why wouldn't that have been one of the first things that was done? Why wouldn't that usually in a fight like this, that would be one of the first things that's done to assure everybody that everything's on the up and up. So why wouldn't that have been done? So it's just too convenient that everyone was stalling at the same time. Oh, this fight is almost done. And he said it for about 2.5 months. Right? Said it for that long. And then Joshua and Fury signed a letter of intent, which is a non-binding agreement, which is basically a paper that, or a document, I should say, that isn't really worth the paper it's written on because it can't be enforced in a court of law. It's non-binding. So what is that for? Okay, well, basically, the one of the good things about the letter of intent is you have all the deal points worked out. It's an outline of what both fighters want in the contract. So I know a lot of people think that, when fighters negotiate, right, and they draw up these documents and the fight doesn't happen, that it's all a waste of time. It really isn't a waste of time when they do all this. Why would Hearn waste all this? He didn't waste his time because, again, all of the information that was agreed upon, all of the deal points that was agreed upon, they have it all there. This is information that just gets carried over to the next negotiation. So half of the pretty much every pretty much a lot of the negotiation has already been done. The purse splits have already been agreed upon. The last thing, the last couple things, maybe even though there are a couple things that were left on the table, but even because there were, even though there's just a few things that were left on the table, these were big things. The TV deal was not worked out. Okay, the stadium was not built. The COVID restrictions were still there, right? The money was still not put in escrow. So there's a couple things that were left on the table, but those couple things were pretty big things. Can't have the fight without those things. So it doesn't matter if there's still a few, like if someone says, well, we agreed on all of this stuff, so there's only a few more things to agree on. But again, the fight can't happen until those few little things, or they're not even little things, as I'm using his words, because that's not a little thing. It's not a little thing if the group or the entity or whoever has made a commitment to put up the money. If they haven't put up the money, all right. Trying to think, when was the original deal signed? That letter of intent, when was that actually signed? That was, want to say that was done back in March, I think, or February. I think they actually signed that paper. I want to say late February, early March, right? So you got April and May that are like that's almost gone, right? So you have 8 weeks that have already gone by, and no funds have been put in escrow at all. Nothing. So everybody was part of the stall process, because if someone's going to be telling you for two and a half months to 3 months that this fight is guaranteed to happen, it's almost done, and it doesn't get done, then you have to look at that person and say, well, are they that naive? Are they that stupid? Or are they in on it too? You can't put a happy face on it. People want to say who's more at fault. Again, I'm not going to get in these types of debates like of what's worse, AIDS or cancer. Like if everything is bad, if everyone had a part to play, I'm not going to sit there and go back and try to figure out who had a bigger part. If they were all part of the same problem, the same issue, then everyone fucked up here. Everyone misled the public. If Aram never came out and was really high on having this fight get done, Aram and Warren kept saying all along that they didn't believe the fight was going to happen. Right? They were negative on it all along, right? So all of a sudden, Eddie Hearn's going to believe that they really wanted the fight. If they showed you for months that they didn't want the fight to happen, and you're knowing this, along with knowing there's an arbitration going along that's been dragged out for 6 months, you're going to sit there and tell me a logical person, an intelligent person, isn't going to be suspicious at all? How could someone with all of those factors involved be as positive as Eddie Hearn was that this fight was going to get done? If the other side kept telling you that they weren't keen on getting this fight done, they were negative, that if someone tells you a fight is dead in the water, right? If another promoter is Frank Warren is telling you there's a lot that still has to get done, this fight is not almost done, right? And then there's still the arbitration going on, right? How are you going to feel good about a situation if for weeks the other side keeps telling, and even Tyson Fury, I'm gonna fight somebody else, whether it's Joshua or not. If people can't see How ridiculous that sounds that Eddie Hearn is the victim here. Any logical person would not feel comfortable, right? Would not feel comfortable saying that something is 100% going to happen with all of that other shit going on in the background. No intelligent person would feel good about that. And for someone to go out there with all of that information and continue to say, I'm 100% sure this fight's going to happen. I can guarantee you this fight's going to happen. And people just listen to him week after week saying that. And all of a sudden, he comes out and plays the martyr, just like he's playing the martyr here. Oh, the poor sanctioning bodies, they're not giving us a moment to breathe. Oh, poor me. I was led astray by Bob Arum. He lied to me. Whoa, that's a friggin' newsflash. Bob Arum lying? Wow. I'm shocked. So you can't sit there and believe this guy. You can't allow this man to manipulate you. All of you man fans out there that idolize this guy, I'm going to come out and say it right now. I think he's the best promoter in boxing right now. But part of being the best promoter in boxing right now is being able to control you weak-minded people who hang on every word he says, and you repeat his talking points verbatim to defend him every time someone criticizes him. Oh, Beeb, you're just being... No, I'm not being a hater. I'm not being a hater. I'm making observations based off of what someone is saying. If someone tells me that the sky is pink with purple polka dots, and I know it's not, what am I supposed to do? Just agree with that person? For me to sit there and try and believe that Eddie Hearn felt so confident that this fight was guaranteed to happen when the other side week after week was telling him that they didn't want it to happen, basically, not in so many words, and they didn't think it was going to happen. If you had so much negativity on one side coming at you week after week after week, and you're dealing with a process of an arbitration that started in December and took 6 months. When is an arbitration really ever taken 6 months? 6 months to be completed. So everything was just too convenient here. Everything was just too convenient here. Okay? Everything was just too convenient. Everything. So for anyone to believe that Eddie Hearn may not have been, like, for them to believe that Eddie Hearn possibly could be part of the stall tactics himself, then you're naive too. And he's got you right where he wants you, because once again, it only adds to the drama. Eddie Hearn is what I call, there's a term called crazy maker. Okay? It's crazy maker, right? He always has to, no matter what he's doing, there always has to be drama around him. Crazy makers are people who love drama. They love chaos. Doesn't mean that they're not productive people. Doesn't mean that they're not good at what they do. Doesn't mean that they're dysfunctional. That doesn't mean that. But amidst all of that, amidst all the controversy, all the chaos, right, all the drama, they still get the job done, and they still are successful people. That's Eddie Hearn. He's a crazy maker. Just about every event that he's involved in, there's fucking drama. Billy Joe Saunders event with Canelo, the ring, right? The ring. Like there's always a drama. All the bullshit that was going on with the negotiations with that. Then the Dillian White thing with Rivas, the drug testing issues, that whatever. The gloves. There's always drama. There's always drama, and it's always somebody else's fault. We never do anything wrong on this side. Okay? Anthony Joshua has had all the belts for 3 years. He had an issue dealing with Deontay Wilder and getting that unification fight. Okay, I think a lot of evidence suggests that maybe Wilder may not have wanted that. Okay, and now you got Fury who has the belt. Now they can't put that fight together. So you could sit there and criticize Wilder. You can sit there and criticize Fury, and you would be well within your rights to do so. There's no innocent parties here. But at the end of the day, you have to also say to yourself, this is a man who's guaranteed and promised undisputed. And for 3 years, he has failed to do this. He's failed his goal. He's failed on his goal, right? He's failed on his goal. He has not completed the task. He's not completed the task, right? And this is a guy who told you, if this fight doesn't get done, then it's my fault. I'll accept all the blame. But in the same token, now that the fight hasn't gotten done, right? It didn't get done, right? Now what is he turning around and doing? He's playing the victim. He's saying, now the new narrative is, well, I did everything I could possibly do. I actually did get the deal done. I just couldn't get it over the line because of them. Blame them. Blame them. And if you guys can't see what's going on here, how he wants to play the victim and the martyr now, I just, there's nothing else I could do for you. There's nothing else I can tell you. All I can say is you guys are suffering from a very severe case of cognitive dissonance. If you cannot see the writing on the wall, does anyone really think that Eddie Hearn is going to drop, excuse me, not Eddie Hearn, Anthony Joshua is going to drop any of these titles? Guaranteeing you, he's not going to drop any of these titles. So why is Eddie Hearn saying that? Oh, well, we don't know if we're going to fight Usyk next. We don't know that. Anything can happen here. We don't know. We'd like to do the deal with Usyk, but if we can't get the deal that we want, then we may have to drop the belt and go somewhere else. Again, why would they not get the deal they wanted? When have they ever not got the deal they wanted when it comes to a mandatory? Now all of a sudden there's issues with money now when it comes to Anthony Joshua. Probably when it's all said and done with the endorsements and all, arguably the highest paid boxer on the planet right now, either him or Canelo. It's very close between those two. So now all of a sudden there's an issue dealing with mandatory challenges and getting the deal that you want when you've already had a successful working relationship with Alexander Usyk. You've done fights with Usyk before, and now all of a sudden you're putting out the narrative that there could be a problem dealing with Usyk all of a sudden out of the blue. Why? Because he's a crazy maker. He loves the drama. He loves chaos. He's always got to be the victim. Why does he always have to be the victim? And you guys are gonna lap it up. You're gonna lap it up because this is what you want to do, you diehard Hearn fans. Beeb, why do you care? Because it's irritating. It's irritating. And I would be intellectually dishonest if I didn't put this information out there. I just can't sit by and just watch this go on without saying something. It's just because it irritates me. Does it irritate me to the point where I'm going to lose sleep over it? No. Does it irritate me in a catastrophic way? No. But it's like a fucking mosquito bite, you do a little bite and you just keeps fucking itching it, That's what this guy reminds me of. He's like that little fucking bug that's flying in your fucking face. It just irritates you and you just got to swat it away. So I got to swat away this bullshit because it irritates me. It does get under my skin a little bit that this guy continues to manipulate people and he gets away with it. Because he's got these people that just ride his jock like it had a saddle on it. So there's zero way that Joshua's going to drop any of these titles. There's zero way he's going to drop any of these titles. There's zero way. There's zero way that this fight with Usyk doesn't happen next. But yet, Hearn, being the drama queen that he is, has to pretend that there's going to be a problem. I'm on here right now, and I guarantee you that by August, Anthony Joshua will fight Alexander Usyk. There is zero chance of him ever vacating that title. Zero. The plan was, like I said, for everybody involved to stall this out, get each fighter a fight in between. So when they do fight, the COVID restrictions will be gone. The travel ban will be gone, right? And then they could put the fight on with no COVID ban, no travel restrictions. They could put the fight on in the best possible situation possible, right? So now the fight becomes bigger. The fight will be much, much bigger without COVID. The fight will be much, much bigger without the travel ban. The fight will be much, much bigger with all this drama that's been fed into it. It can only get bigger. It can only grow. And you could say, well, what if Wilder beats Fury? What if Usyk beats Joshua? Anything is possible. We're not going to rule that out. But it's unlikely. It's unlikely that Wilder will beat Fury. And even if Wilder does beat Fury, then you can have that fight with Joshua and Wilder again. That's just as big, if not bigger, than a fight with Fury. The higher improbable scenario is if Usyk beats Joshua, right? I just don't see Usyk beating. I just can't see it. I'm going over it in my head. I'm breaking it down. I'm looking at Usyk at heavyweight, looking at his last couple performances. I just don't think he wins. I just don't think Usyk will beat him. I just don't think Usyk will beat him. I just got to say, you've been cooking, guys. It's not even, these guys aren't even pink in the center. These guys are well done and crispy, right? Start cooking, H. Put the shit on the grill and start cooking. Go ahead.
Well, good, Steve. Thank you, man. How you feeling?
I haven't been this great in years, man. I'm just feeling better and better, man. I think I age in reverse.
Absolutely, brother. We got a great fight, tonight. Devin Haney versus Jorge Linares. I support Devin Haney. I think he's one of the best young fighters in boxing, and I'm looking forward to this fight tonight. I think Devin Haney will have a spectacular performance, and he will dominate Jorge Linares. I predict an eighth round stoppage by body shots. I think Devin Haney will stop Linares with body shots, and I'm looking forward to that. I see that you're talking about Eddie Hearn suggesting Anthony Joshua may vacate his world titles. I heard about this earlier today. I heard that Anthony Joshua, he may vacate the WBO world title. Some people feel like he's looking to duck Alexander Usyk. I mean, me personally, I think the fight will happen. I think it's a big money fight, but I also think it's a dangerous fight for Anthony Joshua. Usyk has a lot of skills. Usyk is a very slick boxer. He's very fast. He has great footwork. He can box, and we know Anthony Joshua. He's a great fighter, but he's beatable. We've seen that in the Andy Ruiz fight. So, I mean, I'm not sure what's gonna happen, but I hope they make that fight. I hope Anthony Joshua doesn't vacate his belts, my brother. But Alexander Usyk, I believe, is a very dangerous fight for Anthony Joshua. What about you?
Well, here's the thing, H. I got to be honest. I don't really think it's a dangerous fight. That's just my opinion. I don't think that this is the type of style that's going to trouble AJ. Like, AJ is not the type of guy that gets outboxed. He has issues with the guys that go inside on him and crowd him and smother his offense, like Ruiz, like Takum, even Parker. When Parker got up close, he made things uncomfortable. When Povetkin got up close, he made things uncomfortable. Usyk, a guy who doesn't have a huge punch, not the biggest guy in the world, not really a physical guy, hasn't shown anything dynamic or spectacular at this division. I'm not saying he's not a good fighter, but I just don't think this style gives Anthony Joshua problems. But I think what Eddie Hearn loves to do is he loves to create the drama. So he knows that maybe this fight needs a little bit of extra drama to get the people's juices flowing for this fight. So what does he got to do? Oh, well, we might not even fight him. We may not drop the title. We may do this. We may do that, because what's he want? He wants attention. He's constantly in front of the camera. Every single situation scenario, there's always got to be a drama. Or when Billy Joe Saunders was fighting Canelo, the big drama there was the ring. Dillian White versus Rivas, they had the big issue with the gloves, the PEDs and shit. There's always a drama when you're dealing with Eddie Hearn. He's a crazy maker. He loves the attention. He's in front of a camera more than any person in the sport of boxing I've ever seen in my life. He does more interviews than anybody in the sport of boxing I've ever seen in my life. This guy is a narcissist. He loves people talking about him. He's constantly feeding the press sound bites. Go on YouTube right now. There's about 50 videos with Eddie Hearn in them right now. This is what he does. So this is part of why he's such a good promoter, because he has people like you and I talking about this. There's all videos being made about this guy. There's articles being written about this guy, right? And it's always about me. I did everything I could. I tried to do everything I could to get this fight over the line. Everything that was possible that could be done, I did it. If this fight doesn't get done, it's my fault. But now the fight doesn't get done. Now he doesn't want it to be his fault. Now it's Bob Arum's fault. Now it's Tyson Fury's fault. Now it's Frank Warren's fault. So which one is it, Eddie? All the while, what happens? We keep talking about this guy, and that's what he wants. That's what he wants. He wants the attention.
Yeah, some people they make it seem like Eddie Hearn doesn't make mistakes. I feel like this guy, he's made a lot of mistakes. He's done a lot of great things as well in the sport of boxing. He keeps fighters active. He paid fighters a lot of money. He got to be doing something right, because he has two of the biggest stars in boxing, Canelo Alvarez and Anthony Joshua. So, I mean, the fighters, most of them, they like what he's doing, but at the same time, we got to call him out on the bullshit. And I see a lot of it, and man, I'm looking forward to Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, the third fight. I think this is the biggest fight in boxing. It's highly anticipated. We want to see the trilogy. Tyson Fury looks like he's ready to go. Tyson Fury has been getting better and better with his new trainer, Sugar Hill Stewart. And Deontay Wilder, man, excuse after excuse. And I just can't wait for this third fight, because I want to know what's the next excuse going to be. Tyson Fury, he's going to walk him down. Tyson Fury is a special fighter, man. Special fighter. You talking about somebody that's 6'9", 270 pounds, and he can move like a middleweight. He can move like a welterweight. He has great boxing IQ. He has a killer instinct. He's tough. He has a lot of heart. I think Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight in the world by far. I think Tyson Fury will dominate Deontay Wilder, and I think he will dominate Anthony Joshua as well. That's if Anthony Joshua still got the belts. Hopefully AJ, he can get past Usyk. And man, I'm just looking forward to the big fights. B.
There's something that's going on right now on YouTube with the Wilder sycophants, these Wilder minions, Wilder's defense team. I'm getting sick of it. You've been pulling back the curtain and you've been exposing these guys for over a year now. You've been really laying into these guys. They can't beat you with intellect. There's even one guy on here threatening to take you out because he can't beat you with his intellect. He can't beat you mind against mind. They want to silence you, just like they silenced Malcolm X. They're trying to take the H out. They're trying to take the H out now because they can't beat you, right? You got guys saying that Wilder had COVID, but they're gonna wait a year and a half to say he had COVID. What's up with all these delayed excuses? It's not like the excuses get more outlandish. They get greater and greater as time goes on. It's like Jack and the Beanstalk. The fucking thing just keeps growing. It don't fucking stop. But then, but they want to take you out, H. They want to fucking shoot you just because you're exposing the truth. I don't like that, H. They don't know people like you and I. The bullets go around us, man. That's why we're still here. They can't take us out.
Absolutely, Beep. I gotta speak the truth. Even if my life might be in danger, what I'm gonna do is keep it boxing. I'm not worried about none of these punks. Nobody will silence me. I'm gonna continue to speak the truth for the sport of boxing. And Deontay Wilder, he's a liar. He's a hypocrite. Tyson Fury showed that he was the better fighter, and I can't wait for this third fight so Tyson Fury can silence these guys once and for all. I know they're going to continue to make some more excuses, but Tyson Fury, after this third fight, man, he will leave no doubt who's the best, man. So, hopefully, the third fight will happen. And, no more lies from Wilder. That's all I got to say, man. The guy said the suit was too heavy. Then he turned around and said he never said it. They released the audio of him saying it. He accused Mark Breland of spiking his water with no evidence. Right about now, Deontay Wilder is a joke, and I'm rooting for Tyson Fury, man. I think a lot of people will be rooting for Tyson Fury that day.
H, let me ask you this. Do you think Deontay Wilder, I don't even think this is even a thing. This is probably highly probable that Deontay Wilder is calling these guys up and he's just feeding them and feeding them and feeding them. You think this is a ploy on Deontay Wilder's part to add controversy to this third fight, to try to promote this third fight, make it bigger? You think he's trying to build this army on YouTube of diehard fans? And we'll call them out. We'll call them out. Blue Blood, friggin' Boxing Ego, right? 78 Sports, Fred. I don't have a problem with Fred personally, but he got to make a point to tell everybody, me and Deontay Wilder are like this, man. Every time I see the dude, I wrap my arms around him. Like that's clout chasing at its finest, having a name drop that. I mean, nobody need to know all that. You can just say, hey, I'm cool with Deontay Wilder and leave it at that. But this dude went as far as saying, I'm wrapping my arms around the dude. I'm hugging him every time, right? And then when you look at all these guys and you look at the amount of followers they have, and you look at the comments and you look at the super chats, all these guys are just like pushing this narrative out there, not just so they can help Deontay Wilder, but they want to help themselves, H. They will compromise their integrity for clicks. They will sell their soul for clicks. They will prostitute themselves for clicks. And Deontay Wilder is using these motherfuckers only to get himself bigger, to try to make this fight bigger. It's a fucking shame. They even looped you in, H, for a little while, but you got smart. You fought it. You said to yourself, you know what? I like the clicks too. I like being in this group too. I like talking to Deontay Wilder too. But at some point, I got to wake up and look myself in the mirror and say, damn, my integrity means more than this shit. It means more than this shit. There's got to be a point where you just say, nah, man, I gotta pump the brakes. I gotta let the truth come out. And you did that. But these guys who are older than you, these are grown men, late 40s and early 50s, acting like fucking schoolboys running after this dude, man. Acting like man fans running after this dude. It's disgraceful, H. Talk about that, brother.
Yeah, it's disgusting, man. A lot of these guys, they getting paid off of Deontay Wilder's name. That's why they get so defensive over Deontay Wilder, because they getting paid from Deontay Wilder. So I mean, it's a damn shame. This is a sport of boxing. The sport is bigger than Deontay Wilder. You got a lot of great fighters. And let's just speak the truth at the end of the day. That's what it's all about. Now, I believe Deontay Wilder, he just can't accept defeat. I'm not sure if if he's using all of this BS to build the third fight. I think is, some lies. He came out with a bunch of lies, and it backfired on him. So, I mean, right now he's looking like a fool. He has nobody to blame but himself, man. He had an opportunity to fight Anthony Joshua in the past to become undisputed, but he turned that down. He chose the wrong person to cherry pick, and Tyson Fury, you brought Tyson Fury back, you brought him back, bro. And he underestimated Tyson Fury and how good Tyson Fury really was. I think a lot of people did. And now you woke up a sleeping giant, and now you're going against the baddest joker in the heavyweight division, Tyson Fury, bro. And he's in for a lot of trouble. And even in that third fight, I felt like possibly he could have took a tune up and worked his way back, but yet he goes straight into the third fight after a long layoff with the same guy that just dominated him. And I think it's going to be a massacre, man. I think his team made a huge mistake, and Tyson Fury is the type of guy that will capitalize. Tyson Fury is the type of guy, that will get the job done. That's what I believe. And M Stacks, you could, fanboy all you want for Deontay Wilder. At the end of the day, what happened in his second fight? He got his face punched in. That's what happened, bro.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Stacks. Go ahead,
Ain't that
Stacks.
what happened, Stacks? The Tyson Fury won the belt?
Go ahead, Stacks.
Yeah, Tyson Fury got the belt.
You got the floor,
That's right.
Stacks.
That's right. Tyson Fury got the belt, and he tried to get out of the third fight. And like I said before, he has obligations. Remember about the contract expiring H Money? Remember,
Stacks.
why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, I remember that, bro. You got what you want the third fight, right? Now Tyson Fury ain't ducking nobody. Let's make that clear. You wanted that third fight, and that's what you got. Now my question to you is, what is your excuse gonna be this time when Tyson Fury knocks him out again?
There's not going to be any excuses because there's not going to be any funny business this time. You see, you got to understand what being a man is all about. See, Deontay Wilder gave him the benefit of the doubt. He trusted him until he gave him a reason not to. Fury gave him a reason not to. Okay, then he has to do what he has to do in this third fight. Obviously, there's a reason why he wants to fight this third fight. No, I mean, you saw the beating. It was bad. But a man's gonna take a beating that bad and do everything in his power to get the third fight. I think that's worth seeing. I think there's a lot of questions that haven't been answered about the second fight and even the first fight.
What questions you talking about? Like the two knockdowns that Deontay Wilder had? You mean the dent in his head from that right hand, or that blood dripping out of his ear from that right hand he kept getting hit with? I mean, what excuses you talking about, bro? What was looking? I mean,
H Money. I mean, we wouldn't even be talking about a second fight if the referee actually counted. I mean, Tyson Fury was asleep in the middle of the ring.
We're talking about the first fight and the second fight, bro. Now you said the second fight is it was a lot of controversy. There was no controversy. We watched the man get beat down. That's all it is.
You could play all you want.
No,
but
you don't want to accept what happened in the second fight. You don't want to accept what happened in the second fight, bro. That's what it is.
Yeah, you're not gonna talk over me today.
No, I'm asking you. You don't want to accept
ask me a question, I'm answering. Let me answer it.
Okay.
Get him, H. Get him, H. Let him know the truth. You don't want to hear it? Get him.
Because I told you the truth last time. You didn't want to believe me when the fight wasn't going to happen.
You were 100% correct on that.
About the actual
you were 100% correct on that. You got
the actual fight. You said Wilder took a risk and he lost. You were wrong. You were wrong.
So he didn't lose? He did lose.
What do you mean he took a risk and he lost? He's got a
he
third
lost the
fight.
Right? What he did, he said he bet on himself by fighting Tyson Fury, right? And he said he turned down more. He turned down more money to give Tyson Fury a rematch, like what you said. He gave Tyson Fury the benefit of the doubt, and it backfired on him because Tyson Fury went in there and dominated that dude. That's what he said.
Yeah.
So now you prove to me that Tyson Fury cheated. No, you prove to me that Tyson Fury cheated in the second fight. That's what you need to do right now for all those false allegations. Now Tyson Fury beat that man fair and square. Prove that he cheated.
I hear Tyson Fury making excuses already. Him and his father. How they've been training for AJ and can't train for Wilder now. How they're not ready for Wilder. What's that?
No, you talk about the cheating that you lied about, bro, and Wilder lied about. Let's talk about that.
Wilder wasn't himself in the second fight. You
Who
can
fought him that?
you can scream
Whose
like
fault
a
is
bitch
that,
all day,
Stacks? Whose
but
fault is that,
he wasn't
Stacks?
himself.
Whose fault is that, Stacks? That ain't Fury's fault, is it?
I never said it was.
Oh, okay.
All I'm saying is that wasn't Deontay Wilder in the second fight.
Okay.
And if
Was
you
that his,
think
was
it
that his
was,
twin?
you're
Was that his
sadly
twin? Was that his
mistaken.
twin? Was that his twin? Wasn't him, it was his twin?
Okay, y'all want to play this game before? I'm not gonna go
He
back
said it
and forth
wasn't
because I
him that
know
was
I'm right.
Deontay
I've been
Wilder. He wasn't
ethering you
the way
guys
he
for
got
10
beat
years.
down.
I've been ethering y'all for 10 years. I was right about Pacquiao and Mayweather. I was right about
Stay
Aaron.
right here.
I've been
No,
right
stay
about
right here
I've
in this
been right
Wilder.
about
Stay
Hearn.
right here in this
I've been
Wilder
right.
and Fury. No, you lied about the dude cheating. Tyson Fury didn't cheat Wilder in the second fight.
Wait,
You
wait, wait,
guys
wait, wait,
lied
wait,
about
wait,
that.
wait. So you saying Tyson Fury didn't cheat? Do you have
In
proof
the
that he
second fight,
didn't
he did
cheat?
not cheat. Prove that he cheated. Prove it. You accusing him. Now you prove it.
What you mean prove it?
Prove that
Okay.
he cheated. If you're going to accuse a man of something, you got to prove it.
Look
Thank you,
at the way
D-Style.
you fucking
Thank you,
moving.
D-Style. He says H Money and B, but unstoppable force. That's the truth. Go ahead, H. Go ahead, Stack.
I want you to prove it that the man cheated. If not, leave it alone, bro. Stop
I
making
don't care. I don't
excuses.
care what you think. I don't care what you think.
Exactly,
You're not
bro.
H
Your boy
Money. You're
got
not a
punished.
stand-up
Your boy
guy. You're
got
not a
his ass
stand-up
whipped.
man.
Your
You don't
boy got
understand
whipped.
about being
Wilder's
a
not a
stand-up
stand-up
cat.
man. Wilder's not a stand-up man. Talk about
See,
Wilder.
let me talk about B.
No, talk about
B's
Wilder
a stand-up
waiting over
guy. When B
Wilder
was
blame Mark
wrong,
Green for no
when B
reason,
was
talking about
wrong,
an egg in a fucking
can you
glove.
shut the
Now
fuck
you
up?
shut up. You shut your bitch ass up.
Yo,
Wilder
you
got
a
his
bitch.
ass whipped. And stop fucking crying, you fucking bitch.
Man,
That's
you
what you
sound like
need
a
to do.
hoe, man.
Stop
You really
crying
sound like a
over
hoe right
Wilder,
now.
bro. Wilder got his fucking ass whooped. That's what happened. And stop crying like a bitch, bro. That's what you need to do.
You sound like a bitch
Get
right
off of
now.
Wilder's dick. Get off of Wilder's dick, you fanboy. That's what you need to do. You're a
You
fucking
wake up with
fanboy
AJ's
for
balls in
Wilder.
your mouth
You
every
punk ass
morning.
bitch. You a punk ass bitch. That's what you are. Crying
I'm a
over
punk
Wilder,
bitch,
bro. I
but
mean, he
you
got
up
his
here
ass
screaming
whooped
like a
fair and
hoe.
square. Yeah, it sure was Wilder in that ring. He got his ass whooped. Now get over it. Get
So
over
what you
it.
gonna do in the third fight, bitch?
You gonna get his ass whooped
What you gonna
again,
do in
bitch.
the third fight
Wilder
with
gonna get
Tyson
knocked
Fury
out
get his
again.
ass whooped and
Wilder
don't
gonna
look the
get his
same?
ass whooped
What you gonna
again.
do?
Wilder gonna get whooped.
What
Stop
you gonna
crying.
do?
He
You
gonna
gonna
get
hide
beat
your
up
tail and
again.
run like a
Exactly.
bitch.
That's what Wilder doing. He the one hiding. Where's Wilder
You
at?
hiding?
Stop
You
crying over
hiding?
Wilder. Stop crying
He's
over a
hiding,
grown
but
man.
Fury's trying to get out the third
Stop
fight though.
crying over Wilder, bro.
Wilder's
Get
hiding,
over it.
but Fury's
This
trying to
gonna
get
be
out the
his
third
last
fight.
fight. Guess what? This is gonna be his last fight. This is gonna be his last fight.
H Money, the
That's what
same nigga
happened.
that said AJ was gonna beat
Exactly.
Wilder too. AJ lost to a garbage man, Andy Ruiz.
What AJ ain't got nothing to do with this. We talking about Tyson Fury.
AJ's got
Stay
everything
right
to
there
do
with
with
Tyson
this
Fury.
because
Because
Undisputed could have been
you
fought
won't
for
even get
years
past
ago,
Tyson
but
Fury.
AJ didn't want to fight.
Wilder won't get
Hearn
past
been
Tyson
lying
Fury.
about
Why you talking about AJ?
all week.
You can't beat Tyson Fury. You can't even beat Tyson Fury. Stick to right there.
Okay, Tyson Fury. Do you even know
You
Tyson
got
Fury,
Tyson
bitch?
Fury problems.
You
You
is
got
the
Tyson
biggest dick
Fury
writer
problems.
on
You
YouTube.
got
H
Tyson
Money
Fury
is the
problems,
biggest dick
buddy.
writer on YouTube.
Exactly.
You
You the
find
only
a dick
dick
and you
writer
just
over here
ride it.
talking about Wilder. You the only one dick riding right now, Wilder. That's you. Bitching about Wilder
How am
every
I
time.
riding Wilder's dick? You the
That's
one
what
been
you
talking about
doing.
Fury and AJ the whole
You're
time.
a Wilder
Fury's gonna
fanboy.
win. Fury's
Yeah,
gonna win.
he
I got
is. He's
Fury's
the
balls
better
in my
fighter.
mouth. That means he's
He's
gonna
the
win.
better
Get
fighter.
Fury's balls out
Tyson
your mouth,
Fury is the
bitch.
better fighter. Because I picked Tyson Fury to win, you mad at me because I said Tyson Fury is a better
No,
fighter?
I'm mad at
You
you because
already
you sound
proved it.
like my bitch when she's
Exactly.
mad at me.
Ain't nobody gonna agree with your lies. So get over it. You the only person that believe that bullshit that you talking about an egg weight and spiked water and the suit is too heavy and voodoo dolls and all that bullshit. That's what you talking about.
Voodoo dolls. Voodoo
Yeah,
dolls.
that was
So there's
Wilder
no
said.
cheating in boxing. Answer that.
So
That's what
Stacks,
There's no
Wilder
cheating
said.
in boxing?
Stacks, let me ask you a question.
Is there wait, H Money, there's no cheating in boxing?
Wilder didn't get cheated. I know that much.
Yes, answer the fucking question,
Yeah,
bitch.
Wilder didn't get cheated. So
Answer
shut
the
the
question,
fuck up.
bitch.
Did Wilder
Answer the
get
question,
cheated, bitch?
bitch.
You
Yeah,
a
no,
bitch.
bitch.
You a bitch.
That's
How
right,
about that?
bitch.
I'll
You
answer the
fucking
question.
bitch.
I'll
You a
answer the
bitch.
question.
Shut up,
I'll
bitch.
answer.
You a fucking bitch. Get off
Shut
Wilder's
up,
dick,
bitch.
bitch. Fucking
You a
fanboy.
bitch. I
You a
slap the
bitch.
shit out of you
I'll
in
beat
person,
your ass
bitch.
too, you fucking
I
pussy.
slap the
I'll
shit out
beat
of you in
your ass
person,
too,
bitch.
bitch. You fucking bitch.
H, let me talk to him. Let me talk to him for a couple minutes.
Mhm.
I'll answer
Whole
that
ass nigga.
question. I'll
Whole
answer
money.
that. All right, Stacks. All right, Stacks.
Man,
I'll
you
answer
need to
that.
keep that whole ass nigga off your platform, dog. All you
Hey,
do
shut
is
your
score like
bitch
a
ass
bitch.
up, bro. Shut your
H
bitch
is
ass up. You don't call no
What
shots
you
over
gonna
here,
do?
bitch.
What the fuck
H
You
is
you
the
don't
gonna
call
truth.
no
do, bitch?
shots over here.
H is the
What you
truth.
gonna
This
do,
is his
bitch?
home.
Yeah,
Nothing.
you
This is
don't
his
call no
home.
shots over here,
Stacks,
buddy.
You a loud
stacks,
hoe. Hoe
Fucking
stacks,
money.
bitch. Stop crying. Stop snitching.
Hoe
Tell
money.
H Money get off the channel. Don't
Hoe
let H
money.
Money in. Now you turn
You
to
a
a snitch.
hoe.
You turn to a snitch for
You got
Wilder.
panties on,
Now
nigga.
nobody
stack.
gonna
You
listen
got a
to you. So
rainbow
you
on
don't
your
call
car.
no
You
All
shots.
faggot.
right, all right, all right. Let me
Yep.
get in. Let me get in. Let me get in. Let me get in. Stacks, I could
Shut
never.
your ass up.
I could never.
Faggot ass.
All right, let me get in. Let me get in. I could never kick H off this channel. He's like family over here. I don't. You know, he's like me. We get passionate. H
He's
got
a
a home over
fucking
it.
faggot. That's what
All
he
right, all
is.
right, all right. Enough. H, let me talk to this. Let me talk to this man for a couple minutes. So you asked the question: is it cheating in boxing? 110%. I think 90% of the boxers are on PEDs.
That's right. You a grown ass man. You a
I ain't
grown
I
ass
ain't gonna
man,
I
B.
ain't gonna I ain't gonna deny that. I've been you can go back to 2009. I've been saying that. I've been saying that for 12 motherfucking years. I've been saying that for 12 motherfucking years. But at the end of the day, Stacks, some of this other shit that's being said, there's no evidence for it. There just
There's
isn't.
no evidence, and I'm not looking for it. All I'm saying is that second Deontay Wilder, I watched boxing. That didn't look like Deontay Wilder. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. Here's the thing. Maybe I suspect that wasn't the best version of Deontay Wilder,
It
but
wasn't.
in the first fight, that wasn't the best version of Tyson Fury, and
No.
that pretty much was the best version of Deontay Wilder, and I think Fury won that fight. You can argue back and forth whether it was a draw, whatever, but I think that cancels out the fact because Fury wasn't. When are we ever going to see the best version of a fighter in that ring? All you can hope for is the closest to the best version of a fighter when he steps into that ring, because you don't know. Wilder has torn bicep tendons in both arms. He's broken his forearm before. He's broken his hand. I'm going to be honest with you. We may see a better version in the third fight, but I don't think we're ever going to see the best version of Deontay Wilder ever again, because he's going to be 36 years old. He's suffered multiple injuries, right? So we may see a better version, but I don't think you're ever going to see. Guys don't get better with age. Once you tear something in your body, you can rehab it and repair it, but it's never going to be 100%. I can guarantee you that. So in this third fight, whatever version of Deontay Wilder you see, it may not be enough, because the good thing about one of the positive things about Tyson Fury is, when have you ever heard of Tyson Fury tearing a ligament? When have you ever heard of Tyson Fury breaking a hand or breaking a bone? This dude has been very fortunate in his career to never have suffered any injuries. Maybe a cut eye or whatever, but that wasn't even a factor in the second fight. So Fury's younger. Fury is getting better now because he's starting to work his way back into returning, right? This would have to say now, if Fury does win this third fight, we can't talk about the first fight anymore. We can't talk about the second fight. This has to bring all that stuff to an end. There has to be closure after this third fight. Can we agree? Can we at least come to the conclusion and agree upon, after this third fight, if Fury does win this fight, all the bullshit, all the excuses, it has to stop after that third fight, correct?
Yes, it should.
It has to end, right? Has to end.
Yeah, stop
Because
bitching,
No,
bro.
no
After the
more
third fight, stop
controversy.
bitching, bro. Stop bitching after this third fight. Stop crying. That's what he's trying to say, bro.
Oh, here you go. Here
Exactly,
you
bro.
go.
Stop bitching with the
Here
excuses.
you
You all
go.
proud as dick, bro. That's what I gotta tell you. You a
Okay,
punk
well, how
ass
many
bitch,
times you
bro.
gonna say it,
That's
bro?
what
You
I'm gonna tell
repeat
you,
the
bro.
same thing
You're a
over
punk
and
ass
over,
bitch,
yo.
bro.
Fucking retarded or something? Hello?
yeah, I'm still here. I think he dropped off. He may have dropped off. I'll put the link back in there if he wants to jump back on. Yeah, I think he jumped off. But
But
you was
all I'm
right.
saying is, go ahead.
You was right about Hearn from the jump. Took me a little while. I mean, I think around February is when I started catching on. You know, I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I couldn't. The evidence was overwhelming. I mean, I think they was all part of the stall tactics. Like I said, I think they dragged. I think all three of them dragged it
Honestly,
out.
honestly, I don't think Hearn knew I think Bob Arum knew that Tyson Fury was obligated for that third fight the whole time. Even when he was talking about the contract
Yeah, but
expiring and everything.
I even think Hearn knew too, man. I think this is why I think everybody wins by having this fight pushed off later. I think by pushing this fight off and having it happen later, I think it just makes the event bigger because I think they all were stalling out the COVID restrictions. That's just my thing. At the end of the
Yeah,
day,
yeah,
what did you keep hearing from Bob Arum? We need to put
man,
Fury Wilder 3 in front of a live gate, and they
yeah.
got it. And they got it. So you have to ask yourself this: is it a coincidence that all of a sudden, once the state of emergency has been lifted, once the mask mandate has been lifted, is it a coincidence that all of a sudden now all the big fights are being announced? Everybody was playing the stall game because it made
Yep,
sense to play the stall game. It
yep,
made no sense to put on big fights under these conditions with all this uncertainty, knowing if you could put people in an arena, knowing if you could have fans travel who would normally travel to these fights. That's why everybody wins here except for the fans who got played. But at the
right.
end, the fans will win in the end because you didn't get the instant gratification, but you're going to get the delayed gratification. So if you didn't buy into the bullshit, then you ain't disappointed in all this. So now you say to yourself, I get two big fights instead of one big fight because
Right.
even if Wilder wins, that's a huge fight with Joshua. So it's a no-lose situation. But I really do have a hard time believing Usyk beats
Joshua gonna
Joshua.
fight him.
I think he will. I think Hearn's just trying to put the bullshit out. Hearn just wants the drama. He just wants the attention. That's what Hearn wants. Hearn knows that Joshua's not going to drop no fucking belts. Joshua's held these belts for 3 friggin' years. All of a sudden now, and then Hearn saying like, well, if we could make the deal with Usyk, if it's the right deal. When has Hearn ever had a problem dealing with Usyk? He dealt with him many times in the past. When has he ever had a problem dealing with these mandatory challenges? When has he ever had a time with putting these fights together for Joshua when there have been mandatory challenges? Like now, all of a sudden, there's a problem putting these fights together when there never was before. Hearn is a bullshit artist, man. He just
Yeah,
wants attention. He's just trying to put narratives out there. He's just trying to give these friggin' people sound bites so he can get attention. That's
yeah.
what I think.
That's what
Thank
it's
you,
looking like.
thank you, D Style. He says you got any more excuses in Tarver voice? Thank you, Donkey Kong. Appreciate that. But
Uh,
yeah, man, that's what this is all about, man. This whole
yeah,
thing
they
is about
saw.
Hearn continuing to try to put narratives out there just so he can keep his name in the headlines, just so he can keep his fighters' names in the headlines. All this does is add to promotion, add to the attention of the events that Hearn's putting on. And he's doing his job. He's doing his job. Whether we like how he's doing his job or not, he's doing his job because he's giving his company and his fighters attention. And that's what he's
It's
supposed
not
to
so
do.
bad when he lies. It's the fans who actually believe his bullshit all the time that gets me. It's the bullshit and the fans believing it all the time and believing AJ Wilder duck AJ. It's like, dude, he's got all this energy to unify right now with Fury. He never had that much energy to unify with Wilder. Never.
That was always going to be that was always going to be a problem. I think that the two sides there was just too much bad blood between Joshua and Wilder and also Wilder and Hearn. Like Hearn and Wilder, they had a lot of back and forth conversations of insults and stuff like that. Hearn was insulting Shelly Finkel. He was very critical. That it became personal between the two sides, and it just wasn't a good business relationship. So that was that's always going to be a problem, regardless moving forward. If Wilder were to win this third fight, it's always going to be hard for those two sides to sit down and talk. But the funny thing about it is, you have a hard time dealing with the Wilder side, but now after all that happened with the Fury side, how you allegedly and supposedly misled by Bob Arum, why you still have a problem with the Wilder side, but now all of a sudden you don't have a problem with the Fury side. So that's part of the reason why I think they were all in cahoots to some degree, because Eddie Hearn's pretending he's mad, but then on the same token, he turns around and says, "Yeah, we can still do the fight in December." So if you're so upset with Arum, and you're so upset with Fury, and you're so upset with Warren, why is it not a problem to sit down with these people again and put the fight on in December? He doesn't, he's not ruling that out. He's like, oh yeah, we could definitely do that. This is just business. So why is it just business with Arum, but when it comes to Wilder, it's personal? That's
Business is personal. I don't even know why people say business is never personal. If you offend the wrong person, you're not doing business with that person.
That's right.
That's personal.
That's right. There is always a personal element that gets pulled into business, and at some, and sometimes you have to really try to minimize that personal element and let common sense prevail and let what's best for what's best for business overrule the personal. But for whatever reason, they can't do that when it comes to Wilder, but they can do it when it comes to Bob Arum. That's the crazy thing.
And that's why I kind of think that Arum, that's why I said my statement about Hearn not knowing, because I don't know if Hearn would have went, to these lengths to convince people that this fight is happening if he didn't actually think, this fight is happening. And another thing is, back to the business is personal. You think that could have been payback for making him look like a fool when he bid it on T.O.?
All that could come into play, but at the end of the day, if that was such an issue between the two parties, then they still wouldn't be talking about having a fight in December. So I'm sure that aggravated Arum, and I'm sure the relationship is strained, but it's not as strained as that relationship is with Wilder. That's the thing. And why did Hearn keep doing what he did? Once again, all of it adds to the promotion of when the fight with Joshua and Fury does really happen, because history has shown us every time a fight has been pushed back and delayed and dragged out, it always grows and becomes bigger. Look at Mayweather-Pacquiao, how big that came. When that fight was first proposed, both guys were offered, it was reported, $25 million guarantees each. They made like close to four times that when they actually did fight. Tyson Lewis became way bigger. Tyson Holyfield became way bigger. Even Leonard Hagler became, like, all these fights. People are like, well, why are they losing money? Why are they leaving money on the table? No, they're not leaving money on the table. That's only temporary. They're making a calculated risk. They're making an investment where they know that this, again, it just doesn't make sense how this fight would not be bigger without COVID restrictions. It just doesn't make sense how this fight would not be bigger without a UK travel ban. Because these UK guys, if there's a UK fighter, no matter where the fight is, no matter where they're fighting, they're going to travel. 10,000 at least, maybe 15, maybe 20 are going to travel. If they would have put if they would have put Joshua Fury at Raider Stadium, 60,000 strong, right? Maybe even open it up to have a capacity for 75. You don't think at least 10 to 15 to possibly 20,000 UK fans won't come over? You don't think that?
Yeah. So
the fight not happening now, in my opinion, from a business standpoint and perspective, I think it's a good move. And how the fuck are you going to build an indoor stadium in 6 weeks? How's that even? How could that have been possible to have that fight even happen in August? And why would you ever want to have that fight happen in August in Saudi Arabia when it's 130 degrees temperature? Why would you want to have that fight in Saudi Arabia when so many people from the press, so many fans wouldn't even be able to go see it? It just wouldn't have been under optimum conditions to have that fight at the time they were saying it was going to happen. To me, it just did not make sense. And that's not about me not wanting to fight. It has nothing to do with me not wanting to fight. It was just me using common sense and logic about the whole thing. That's just the way I look at it.
I want to fight all day. I want both fights. I want the Fury AJ, and I want the Fury Wilder. I want heavyweight supremacy. And I think this year.
I was gonna say the only way this becomes a bad situation for Eddie Hearn is if Usyk beats Joshua, because regardless of who wins that Wilder Fury fight, that's going to be the biggest fight in boxing. Wilder Joshua, in my opinion, would be just as big as Joshua Fury. I believe that. I believe that. And I think it may, I'm going to go as bold as saying it may even be bigger because of how Wilder is becoming, has become. And credit to him for this. He's become a pretty big name in the United States now. He's finally, I think, starting to get some of the attention, whether it be positive or negative. A lot of people are talking about Deontay Wilder in the United States right now, more so than they ever have, or they were at that time of the second fight. That second fight did 850,000 pay-per-view buys in a climate when people stream. You gotta look at that in context. Everybody streams fights here in America.
Yeah. You said 900K, right?
About 850, maybe 900K. Bob Arum said it could have been more if they added in the digital buys. Who knows what Bob Arum everyone exaggerates, but at the very least, that did 850,000 pay-per-view buys, right?
That's a lot.
At $80 a pop, that's like what? $65 million, right?
That's Mayweather back in the day on a bad night.
Yeah, but that's $65 million right there in pay-per-view revenue, right?
But those are still Mayweather numbers.
But check this out. Everybody wants to say how the fight bombed or whatever. I don't know if it did or it didn't. I don't know what went on in the back end. I don't know how much expenses were paid to promote that fight. I don't know. Nobody knows, and there's nobody.
That fight did not bomb. That fight made money. They advertised it on the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is this: it did a $19 million live gate, plus that $65 million, right? $65 million, fucking in pay-per-view revenue, maybe even more. And I'm being conservative with these numbers, and so I was like, this fight was like an $86 million fight, bro. I don't know, man. If a fight's generating $86 million in revenue, maybe even more, if you add in I'm not even adding in the international and the UK pay-per-view. So at the very least, this fight did about it grossed about 85 million, possibly 90 million or 91 million. How could that not be a big event? Like, tell me what a big event is if that's not a big event.
From these guys, this is the top of the division. We just want undisputed. All these fights, the money is no excuse not to fight anymore, because all three of these guys, they fight each other. It doesn't matter. The money's gonna be there. You know what I mean? These are big fights, either way you want to put it. Wilder Fury 1 and 2, big fights, drama, controversy, force the third fight. We're still gonna want AJ in the mix after this, no matter what happens in the third fight. You know what I mean?
There's only one bad scenario that could happen here, in my opinion. Only one. And that's if Joshua loses to Usyk, which I just don't think is going to happen.
No, I don't think Usyk is he's got enough power at heavyweight to really get a decision. You know what I mean?
And I continue to say this, and I will hold firm on this belief, that Joshua doesn't have problems with guys like Usyk. He has problems with guys who can get up close and crowd him, work on the inside, smother him. Look at the Ruiz fight.
Yeah.
Ruiz beat him up on the inside. Takam was frustrating him on the inside.
Yep.
When Parker went on the inside, he made things uncomfortable for him. When Povetkin went up close, he made things uncomfortable. So that's the type of style I think that bothers Joshua more so than a guy like Usyk, who's going to go in and out, who may not even stay that long in the pocket. He's going to throw flurries, and those flurries, I think, are not going to be enough. Once Joshua lands a big shot, I think he's going to take the legs away, and that movement's going to subside. And once that movement subsides, and once he starts fading later in the fight because he's going to be getting hit with heavy Joshua shots, I think it's going to be over for him. I think Joshua could stop him in the middle rounds, in my opinion. That's how I see it playing out.
Joshua stops him. And especially after avoiding that fight with Joe Joyce, because they were waiting on Fury and Joshua to see if they were going to fight. And if they would have fought, Usyk would have been fighting Joe Joyce. And I don't even know if he would have won that fight. You know what I mean? Joe Joyce has some deceptive power, like that George Foreman power. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It doesn't look like he's hitting hard, but he's hitting very hard.
When you got a guy like Joe Joyce, who is just naturally heavy-handed, with everything he throws. Like Joe Joyce could just look at the amount of damage Joe Joyce did with just a jab to Daniel Dubois' eye.
Exactly. And he's
So
older, so he's more measured. He's more calmer.
and he's just a heavy-handed, strong guy, and he got hit with a lot of good shots in that fight.
Yep.
And
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 didn't
and
go nowhere.
and they didn't put a dent in him. This guy's a problem. This guy's going to be a problem.
Yeah, he
I
is.
underestimated him, but he showed me
Me
something in
too.
that fight. He showed me something in
I
that
lost
fight that
money.
yeah, I was wrong in that fight. I didn't think that fight was going to be competitive like that. I thought Dubois was gonna stop him. But credit to Dubois too, man. I did have him slightly up before he got stopped. Whether that means anything or not, I mean, he got stopped, so who cares? But I still thought that he was up a
Yeah,
slight.
he was doing a lot of damage, but if you can't get away from a jab the whole fight,
Yeah, it's just the way that he delivers that jab. It's almost like a hammer fist. Like he throws it like that. Like he's throwing his jab, and it's coming like it's throwing it like a cleaver almost. It's coming down like
yeah,
that. He's chopping it.
yeah.
It's a weird fucking delivery, bro.
But he's got that thing down pat, man.
Yeah, man. Like some dudes have like a flick jab. He's got like a fucking hammer jab, bro. Throws that shit like a fucking slingshot, bro. It's fucking crazy.
Well,
Crazy,
shoot,
man.
man. I'm gonna get off of here, B. We gotta
All
feed the
right, man. I'll
kids.
catch up with you, man. I'll catch up with you.
I'm glad boxing's back. Appreciate you having me on.
No doubt, bro. Nice seeing you again, man. As always, be safe, man. Stay strong.
You too.
All right, man. Yeah, so we had some drama. We had H Money jump on for a bit. I think he got a little, he's getting a little frustrated. He decided maybe he wanted to take a break from the debate. That's cool. He's always welcome on it. H Money's my man. Stacks, Stacks, I think, he is a big Wilder fan, but I could at least reason with him a little bit. We can have intelligent conversation. We could be somewhat objective when we have our discussion. So I can't say too much or too many bad things about Stacks. He's cool, man. I don't have a problem with him. I mean, I don't really have a problem with anybody, but I call people out, man. I call people out. If people want to say crazy shit, I'm gonna question it, bro. I'm gonna question it. That don't mean that I'm the policeman on here or anything like that. But if something sounds crazy to me, if something just sounds so incredulous to me, I'm gonna call it out. But I am looking forward to the Devin Haney Linares fight. At first, I wasn't too high on it, but now people are bringing up good points about the fight. Linares has never really lost a fight by decision. He's never lost a fight by decision. All his losses have been by knockout. Thank you so much, Coco. This beep salute to you as well, brother. Linares has never lost a decision. So if Haney does not knock him out, it's going to be interesting to see how competitive this fight could be if Linares hangs around. And if Haney decides to not be as aggressive as possibly he should be, or as we think he should be, if he tries to coast in this fight and gives Linares some breathing room and gives Linares or shows Linares too much respect because he may think that this guy's got a lot of experience, I got to take my time with this guy. Will he give away rounds here? Will this be a competitive fight on the scorecards if it goes the distance? Because if this happens where Haney doesn't knock Linares out, he would be the only guy to beat Linares without knocking him out. Is that a positive or a negative? That's the question that's going to be asked here. To me, I'm going to say that people are getting sick of seeing Haney beat guys like he beat Gamboa, because that was a no-win situation for him, because we saw what Tank did to Gamboa. I mean, even though Tank struggled a little bit, he still got the stoppage against Gamboa, whether it be because of the injury or not. But the pressure, I think, had something to do with that injury in that fight. But at the end of the day, if Haney does not stop Linares and Linares wins rounds in this fight, I don't think it'll be a favorable outcome for Devin Haney. In my opinion, as unfair as this may sound, the bar has been set so high for Devin Haney that, in my opinion, I think anything less than a spectacular knockout is not going to do much to add to his profile here and add anything to his ascension in the lightweight division. I just don't think it's going to be positive for him to go through this fight winning a 9-3, 8-4 decision, or even a 10-2 decision. I just don't think that the fans are going to. It's not going to generate any more interest in him. It's not going to make him look more favorable in the eyes of the fans if that happens. All right, guys. Till next time, Beeb is out. Thank you all for joining me. Talk to y'all soon. Make sure you check us out tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Ringside Reporter Podcast. Myself and Eric Lauder will be live tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And we'll catch up later, guys. Take care. Have a good day. Be safe.